Well, I do have to keep going because this Slender guide still isn't finished yet. There's still a lot to do. I have finally given up and put my scripts up on the web. I have a link. I haven't updated the forum page with the link yet. I'll do that after I record these couple of videos. So there's scripts from all the last videos, the Slender assembled A, B, C, and D. And that's the exact package of the scripts that I used in that. Okay, so now I'm just going to work on this torch a bit more. First of all, I should have said set it to a bit of an offset color. Just so it's not pure white. Okay. Then I'm going to make just another brand new flickering script for it, just a basic flicker that the user doesn't have to do any inputs or anything like that. It's just going to be an effect the torch has over a random period of time. So let's create JavaScript for that. Flashlight. It's going to be a basic flicker. Flashlight basic flicker. Okay, so I'm going to set up some variables. I have a private variable, which is just going to be the timer. I'm going to calculate the timer maximum value, so that's going to be private as well. Let's just set that to a default of 60 in case anything goes wrong. Okay, so now I have a public variable. Delay before the effect. Let's just set that at 60. So every 60 seconds this effect is going to be set off. Delay effect, offset. I've done this before. This is just where I use a random value to offset either side of that 60-second period. So if I set this 20, then I could get a delay between 40 seconds and 80 seconds, and that will be the timer max. Let's just even leave it at 20. This is called delay time offset. Delay time before effect, delay time offset. Okay. Alright, I just wanted to make this script. So we're doing this timer. So first we increment the timer. Then we check if that timer is greater than a maximum timer value. Okay, so in the start, let's calculate a timer max. Timer max equals let's put this in a function because I'm going to be doing it more than once. So generate max time, and I've hit the caps lock somewhere along the lines there. Generate max time. Okay, we're going to be doing that in the start, and then every time we reset. So I'm getting to that one all over the place. So timer max is going to equal the delay before effect plus a random range value between the minus offset and the positive offset. So 20 either side of 60. That's like 4 times effect plus the offset. Okay, so generate max time. So if timer is timer max, first of all we reset the timer, and then I'm going to generate a new max time. And then what are we going to do? I'm going to have a few flicker effects. So let's create a couple of functions. Mild flicker. I've got another one in mind. Be a fade flicker. These are just going to be very quick, dirty functions. It's going to call themselves once. I'm going to use a while loop and yields, two things you should probably never use. And it's going to have a couple of effects generated. Okay, so generate this time. And then we're going to call one of these functions. So we need a random switch based on a random value. I'll probably put a third one in. Case 0. Break. Currently I've only got 2, so it'll be a number between 0 and 1. And I'll call either one of these functions. And that timer will repeat itself and this will come around again. So how am I going to choose the case? I'm going to go to random, range, and feed it to integers. Okay, between 0 and 2, because with integers the maximum is exclusive, so that'll return a number between 0 and 1. Call one of those two functions. Now I'm just going to do a basic flicker over time, so I need to store a few other things. Now this is going to be working off a light component, so this script definitely requires a component. Require component light. So we're going to be calling that. Okay, so let's just make this private variable start intensity. So float, and this needs to be found out on initialize. Before anything happens, equals light dot intensity. So we always have a value that we can return the light to, as was set in the inspector. Start intensity, so we have our start intensity, and let's just keep track of our current intensity. So that we can make some calculations and move that up and down before we apply it to the light. And by default at the start, let's just set it to current intensity. It's going to equal start intensity. We're going to be doing that a lot too, so we'll be copying that line a few times. Okay, so for a mild flicker, what should we do? So, I'm going to calculate a current intensity and then always give it to the light. Now, it's probably a long-handed way of doing it, but like I said, with the fade, probably easier to use a current intensity minus value before we feed it to the light intensity or read it off the light intensity. So current intensity equals light intensity, and then the good old yield. Wait 4 seconds. 0.2, 0.1 to 0.2 is what we're going to do. So let's leave it off 0.2, and then we're just going to be repeating this pattern. Say off, on, so we can keep copying this and seeing what's going on. Let's leave it on. Current intensity will equal the start intensity when it's on. There's the basic flickers. Yield, so that's off 2, on for 0.1. Let's flicker it twice for 0.1. twice. And off for another 0.2. Off for another 0.1, and then back on. One and back on again, and then leave it on. So that's just going to be a mild flicker. It's going to flicker what? How many times? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's only 4 flickers. 1, 2, 3, 4. With a couple of differences in the time, just to see if that does anything. Off. 1. 2. Okay, totally random values in that mild flicker. I suppose we better do a fade flicker before we test this, because we can call that nothing. Well, if we call it, nothing's going to happen. Okay, no compilation errors. Grab the spotlight. Let's just get the basic flicker on there. Delay between each effect. I'm just going to call it. I want one every 5 seconds, and no randomizing. I just want to see this working. After 5 seconds, we might have an effect. Okay, I should have made the timer public so I could see that. Okay. Well, there's the flicker. Okay, so that was the mild random flicker. Okay, so there we go. So we have a bit of a random torch effect that keeps happening. There we go. Every 5 seconds as I set it up. Okay, so let's work on a fade kind of thing. So variable is fading. Boolean equals true. So we want to be fading. Then, because I'm going to do a nasty while loop. While is fading. It's going to keep repeating whatever's in this brackets. And there's going to be a yield at the end of it. I'll get to filling it in a second. Okay, but after the fade is finished, let's do a couple of these flashes again. We faded it out. Let's turn it back on again. On 1 off 2. And stay on. Alright, let's just see what happens. Okay, so we want to fade over time. So current intensity is going to minus equal itself time not delta time, so let's just put in 0.02 if current intensity is less than 0, then we're going to make current intensity equal 0, and then we're going to fall out of this is fading because it'll be finished equals false. So that will hopefully fall out of there. Before we yield, we better set the light intensity again to the current intensity. Okay, so it calls a fade flicker. We'll start minusing while light is true. 2. It's less than 0, make it 0. Set its fade to false. Okay, so that should fade out over time of delta time for about a second. And then it will flash a couple of times and come back on again. Interesting. Okay, that was a flickering one. And there's a fade one. A couple more. Maybe it only needs to flash once or twice. Extra one. I pick something I can use. That's just random between 2. Okay, so random flicker could do with at least one more flash. Okay, let's just copy the start flash. I don't even know what the timing is anymore. I'll leave it off in the mob. Fade flicker was good. Let's just make one more. Let's call this random intensity. Okay, so let's add that to the switch at the top. Okay, let's just quickly put it there. Okay, go away again. Good go. So random range between 0 and 3 returns between 0 and 2. Random intensity. Okay, so we've got the third random one in there. What's my random intensity going to be? I'm just going to do a yield. Random count. Let's just do this by integers. While random count is less than 30 frames per second, let's do it at half, 45. So our random counter is less than 45, but we're going to increment that counter at the end of every while. So the current intensity is going to equal something. I suppose after all this happens, we need to leave it back on again as well. Okay, so that's good stuff. Alright, so that finishes everything up. The current intensity, I'm just going to do random range and the maximum value is going to be the start intensity, and the minimum range, I don't want it to be completely off. I want it to be glowing a little bit, so let's just keep it at 0.1. So that'll count up to 45. I should put a yield in there too. Otherwise that will go bananas. Alright, random intensity. Okay, so we've got 3 different randomizations to this torch while it's been running around. I should get one every 5 seconds. That's a flashing one. Flashing one. Okay, that was random intensity. Okay, well the random intensity one is really full on. Yeah, it just freaks out by itself. I'm not having to do anything to reset the torch or anything. The flash one tends to be picked up. At random. Like 4 or 5 flashes in a row. It's a random fuzzy. 2 random fuzzies. 3 random fuzzies. Random fuzzies. I've seen a fade flick for a while. Hey, well that's random for you. I mean, apart from that, all the codes, there's the fade flicker. Okay, there's the fade flicker. So those 3 different types of random flashlight are all in and working. Of course, you wouldn't have them every 5 seconds. You'd have them set out Decent. That's every 20 minutes, but every 20 seconds either side of a minute. So that could be 40 seconds, or it could be 1 minute 20. So that's pretty decent kind of rates to have there. Okay, so there's another whole brand new flashlight script. Just takes care of itself. As long as it's working. It'll do some flickering. Now that's just how you want it. Yeah, look, it's just turning it off for a certain amount of time, turning it on for a certain amount of time. Okay, it's just those two things repeated. It's so easy. Okay, so fading, do a while loop while it's fading, and it fades, and then I give it a couple more flashes. Probably could do with one less. And a random one, just a little bit of fun. If you want to make it go longer, stop this, you probably even up it to 60. 90 would probably be a good number. Okay,